Sarah walked down the empty street. The rain had stopped, but water still dripped from the old buildings. She pulled her coat closer and looked around. This part of town was strange to her. She had never been here before. The letter in her pocket felt heavy. Her grandmother had left it for her. Sarah found it after the funeral last week. The letter was old and yellow. It smelled like flowers and dust. Her grandmother wrote about a secret that had been in their family for many years. Sarah stopped in front of a small shop. The sign above the door was hard to read. Paint was peeling off the letters. She could make out the words books and more. The windows were dark, but she could see shapes inside. Books were piled high on tables and shelves. She pushed the door open. A small bell rang above her head. The shop was warm and smelled like old paper. An old man sat behind the counter, had white hair and kind eyes. He looked up from his book and smiled. "Can I help you?" he asked. Sarah took out the letter. Her hands shook a little. "I'm looking for someone named Mr. Chen. My grandmother told me to find him." The old man's eyes grew wide. He put down his book and stood up slowly. "What was your grandmother's name?" "Mary Thompson," Sarah said. The old man nodded. "I am Mr. Chen. I have been waiting for you for a long time. Your grandmother told me you would come one day." He walked around the counter and went to a bookshelf in the corner. He moved some books and pressed something behind them. The bookshelf moved to the side. Behind it was a small room that Sarah had not seen before. "Come," Mr. Chen said. "There are things you need to know." Sarah followed him into the hidden room. It was full of strange objects. There were old maps on the walls. Glass bottles with colored liquids sat on shelves. In the center of the room was a large wooden table with books spread across it. Mr. Chen picked up one of the books. The cover was dark blue with silver writing. "Your family has a special gift," he said. "Your grandmother had it, your mother had it, and now you have it too." "What kind of gift?" Sarah asked. She felt scared and excited at the same time. "Can see things that others cannot see. You can feel when something is wrong. You have dreams that come true sometimes." Mr. Chen opened the book. Pages were filled with drawings and writing in different languages. Sarah thought about her life. She had always been different. At school, she knew when her friends were sad, even when they smiled. She had dreams about things that happened later. Her mother always said she had a wild imagination. "My grandmother never told me about this," Sarah said. "She wanted to protect you. But now you are old enough to know the truth." Mr. Chen turned the pages of the book. "There are others like you. They live all over the world. Some use their gifts to help people. Others use them for bad things." He showed her a drawing of a woman with long, dark hair. The woman was standing in a forest with her hands raised to the sky. Light was coming from her fingers. "This was your great-great-grandmother. She could make plants grow with her touch. She helped farmers when their crops were dying." Mr. Chen turned to another page. "This was your great-grandmother. She could heal sick animals." Sarah looked at the pictures. The women in the drawings looked like her. They had the same dark eyes and the same shape of face. "What can I do?" she asked. Mr. Chen smiled. "We need to find out. Everyone's gift is different. Your grandmother could see the future sometimes. She saw that you would come here today." He went to another shelf and took down a small wooden box. Inside the box was a necklace. The chain was silver and had a blue stone hanging from it. The stone was smooth and seemed to glow with its own light. "This belonged to your grandmother. She wanted you to have it." Mr. Chen held out the necklace. Sarah took it and put it around her neck. As soon as the stone touched her skin, she felt something change. The room seemed brighter. She could hear sounds from far away. She could smell the rain outside more clearly than before. "The stone will help you," Mr. Chen said. "It will make your gifts stronger, but you must be careful. There are people who want to use gifts like yours for bad things. They call themselves the Shadow Seekers." "Who are they?" Sarah asked. "They are people who have lost their own gifts or never had them. They try to steal the gifts from others. They have been looking for people like you for many years." Mr. Chen's face became serious. "Your grandmother hid from them. She moved to different places to keep them from finding her." Sarah felt cold suddenly. Are they looking for me? I think they might be. Your grandmother was worried about this. That is why she sent you to me. Mr. Chen went to the window and looked out at the street. We need to teach you how to use your gift, and we need to teach you how to protect yourself. Showed her more books and more pictures. There were stories about people with gifts like hers. Some could move things with their minds. Others could talk to animals. Some could become invisible. How many of us are there? Sarah asked. Not many. Maybe a few hundred in the whole world. We try to find each other and help each other, but we have to be very careful. Mr. Chen closed. The book, Your Grandmother was part of a group. We call ourselves the Guardians. Protect people who cannot protect themselves. Sarah thought about her normal life. She had a job at a coffee shop. She lived in a small apartment with her cat. She liked to read books and watch movies. This world of gifts and shadow seekers seemed like something from a story. I don't know if I can do this, she said. Your grandmother felt the same way when she was young, but she learned, and she helped many people. Mr. Chen put his hand on her shoulder. You are stronger than you think. Outside, the wind began to blow harder. The old building creaked and groaned. Sarah could hear footsteps on the street. They sounded different from normal footsteps. Were too quiet, like someone was trying not to be heard. Mr. Chen heard. Them too? His face changed. They found us, he whispered. We need to leave now. He grabbed a bag from under the table and started putting books into it. Take only what you need. We cannot stay here. Sarah felt her heart beating fast. Where will we go? There is a safe place. Other guardians are waiting for us there. Mr. Chen finished packing and looked around the room one more time. Yeah. Real journey is just beginning. The footsteps outside got closer. Sarah could hear voices now. They were speaking in low, harsh tones. She could not understand the words, but they made her feel afraid. Mr. Chen pressed a button on the wall. The door opened that Sarah had not seen before. Behind it was a narrow staircase going down into darkness. Follow me, he said. And whatever happens, do not let go of that necklace. Sarah followed Mr. Chen down the dark stairs. The stone around her neck glowed softly and gave them a little light. The stairs were old and made small creaking sounds under their feet. She could still hear the voices above them getting louder. Does this go? She whispered. Under the city, Mr. Chen said quietly. These tunnels are very old. The Guardians built them long ago to move around safely. They reached the bottom of the stairs. Long tunnels stretched out in front of them. The walls were made of old brick and stone. Water dripped from the ceiling. Up there, could smell earth and dampness. They walked quickly through the tunnel. Sarah's necklace made the darkness less scary. She could see that other tunnels joined theirs from different directions. It was like a maze under the ground. How do you know which way to go? She asked. Mr. Chen smiled a little. I have been using these tunnels for 40 years. I know them like I know my own house. They walked for what felt like a long time. Sarah's legs started to get tired. She wondered if the shadow seekers were following them. The thought made her walk faster. Finally, they reached another set of stairs. These stairs went up. Mr. Chen climbed them carefully and opened a door at the top. Light came through the opening. It is safe, he said. Sarah followed him out of the tunnels. They were in the basement of another building. This one was newer. Then the bookshop. The walls were painted white, and there were electric lights. A woman was waiting for them. She was about 40 years old, with red hair and green eyes. She wore jeans and a blue sweater. She looked normal, but Sarah could feel something special about her. This is Emma, Mr. Chen said.
Oh.
She is one of us. Emma smiled at Sarah. Your grandmother told me so much about you. I am sorry for your loss. Mary was a wonderful woman. Thank you, Sarah said. She still felt strange about all of this. Yesterday, she was just a normal person. Today, she was learning about gifts and tunnels and people who wanted to hurt her. Emma led them upstairs. The building was actually a small house. It looked normal from the outside, but Sarah could tell it was special. There were symbols carved into the doorframe. Plants grew in every window, and they were more green and healthy than normal plants. This is a safe house, Emma explained. Shadow seekers cannot find us here. The house is protected by old magic. They sat down in the living room. Emma made tea and gave Sarah a cup. The tea was warm and tasted like flowers. It made Sarah feel calmer. We need to talk about what happened today, Emma said. The shadow seekers have been more active lately. They are looking for people like you. Why me? Sarah asked. I do not even know how to use my gift yet. That is exactly why, Mr. Chen said. Young people with gifts are easier to control. They have not learned to protect themselves yet. Emma nodded. The shadow seekers want to steal your gift and use it for themselves. They have ways to take the power from one person and give it to another. Sarah felt sick. Can they really do that? Yes, but only if they catch you, and only if you let them. Emma leaned forward. That is why we need to teach you quickly. You need to learn to use your gift and protect yourself. What exactly is my gift? Sarah asked. I know I am different, but I do not understand what I can do. Shh. Mr. Chen and Emma looked at each other. Emma spoke first. We think you have the sight. You can see things that others cannot. But there might be more. Each person's gift grows and changes as they learn. Your grandmother could see the future sometimes, Mr. Chen added. But she could also sense danger. She could make people feel calm when they were scared. Sarah thought about this. She remembered times when she knew things before they happened. She also remembered helping crying children feel better just by talking to them. How do I learn to use it? She asked. Emma smiled. Practice and patience. And help from friends, like us. Over the next few hours, Emma and Mr. Chen taught Sarah about her gift. They showed her how to focus her mind and pay attention to her feelings. They taught her how to protect her thoughts from people who might try to read them. Close your eyes, Emma said. Think about a wall around your mind. Make it strong and tall. Nothing can get through it unless you let it. Sarah tried this. It was hard at first. Her mind kept wandering to other things. But slowly, she started to feel the wall. It was like a warm, safe feeling around her thoughts. Good, Mr. Chen said. Now, try to see what I am thinking about. Sarah concentrated. She could feel something from Mr. Chen, but it was not clear. It was like trying to see through fog. Then suddenly, she saw a picture in her mind. It was a cat sitting in a sunny window. A cat, she said, opening her eyes. Mr. Chen smiled. Very good. You are learning fast. They practiced for most of the afternoon. Sarah learned to sense the feelings of people around her. She learned to make her necklace glow brighter or dimmer. She even learned to move small objects with her mind. As the sun started to set, Emma made dinner. They ate soup and bread while they talked about the guardians and their work. We help people who are in trouble, Emma explained. Sometimes we stop accidents before they happen. Sometimes we help lost children find their families. We use our gifts to make the world a little bit better. It sounds wonderful, Sarah said. But it also sounds dangerous. It can be, Mr. Chen agreed. That is why we work together. No one has to face danger alone. After dinner, Sarah felt very tired. Emma showed her to a small bedroom upstairs. The room was cozy with a soft bed and warm blankets. Get some rest. Emma said, Tomorrow, we will teach you more. And we will figure out what to do about the shadow seekers. Sarah lay down on the bed, but she could not sleep right away. Her mind was full of everything that had happened. This morning she had been a normal person. Now, she was part of a secret world of people with special gifts. She touched the necklace. Around her neck, the stone was warm against her skin. She thought about her grandmother and all the secrets she had kept. Sarah wished she could talk to her one more time. As she finally started to fall asleep, Sarah heard a noise outside. It sounded like footsteps on the sidewalk. But these footsteps were too quiet, just like the ones at the bookshop. She got up and looked out the window. The street was empty, but she could feel that someone was watching the house. The stone around her neck grew warmer. Sarah ran downstairs. Emma and Mr. Chen were still awake, talking quietly in the kitchen. They are outside, Sarah whispered. Emma and Mr. Chen looked at each other with worry. "Are you sure?" Emma asked. Sarah nodded. "I can feel them. They are watching us." Mr. Chen went to the window and looked out carefully. "I do not see anyone. But that does not mean they are not there. Shadow seekers are good at hiding." Emma stood up and went to a closet. She took out a small bag and started putting things into it. "I need to leave again. This safe house is not safe anymore." "Where will we go?" Sarah asked. "You're in another place," Mr. Chen said. "It is farther away, but it is stronger. Will not be able to find us there." As they got ready to leave, Sarah realized that her old life was really over. She could not go back to her apartment or her job. Shadow seekers would find her there. She was part of the Guardian world now, whether she wanted to be or not. But as she looked at Emma and Mr. Chen, she felt something she had not expected. She felt like she belonged with them. For the first time in her life, she was with people who understood her. "I am ready," she said. Emma smiled. "Then let us go find your real home." They left the house through the back door. Emma led them through a dark garden to a small shed behind the house. Inside the shed was an old car covered with a blue tarp. "This car is special," Emma said as she pulled off the cover. "It has protection. Spells on it. The shadow seekers cannot track it." The car was old but clean. It was dark green and had 4 doors. Sarah got in the back seat while Mr. Chen sat in front with Emma. Emma started the engine, and they drove out of the garage quietly. "Where are we going?" Sarah asked. "To the mountains," Emma said. "There is a place there where many guardians live. Together it is called Haven Valley. You will be safe there while you learn." They drove through the empty streets of the city. Sarah looked out the window at the buildings and lights. She wondered if she would ever see this place again. Everything looked different now that she knew about the hidden world of gifts and danger. As they left the city, the road became darker. There were fewer streetlights and more trees. Sarah could see the moon through the car window. It was full and bright, and it made her necklace glow softly. "Tell me about Haven Valley," Sarah said. Mr. Chen turned around to face her. "It is a small town in the mountains. To normal people, it looks like any other town. But everyone who lives there has a gift. Children grow up learning to use their abilities. It is the safest place in the world for people like us." "How long has it been there?" Sarah asked. "More than 100 years," Emma said. "The first guardians built it when they realized they needed a place to live together. Over the years, more people came. Now there are about 300 people living there. They drove for 2 hours. Sarah started to feel sleepy, but every time she closed her eyes, she thought about the shadow seekers. She wondered if they were following the car somehow. "Emma," she said, "how do the shadow seekers find people with gifts?" Emma looked at her. "In the mirror, they have their own abilities. Most of them used to be like us, but they chose to use their gifts for bad things. When you use your gift for evil, it changes you, makes you hungry for more power." "Can they really steal our gifts?" Sarah asked. "Yes, but it is not easy. They need special tools and a lot of time. That is why they try to catch people when they are young and do not know how to protect themselves." Mr. Chen's voice was serious. "Your grandmother escaped from them once. She was very brave." Sarah felt proud of her grandmother. She also felt scared. If the shadow seekers had tried to take her grandmother's gift, they would definitely try to take hers. The road started to go uphill. They were entering the mountains now. The trees were tall and thick on both sides of the road. Sarah could smell pine trees and fresh air through the car windows. "We are almost there," Emma said. They turned off the main road onto a smaller road. This road was made of dirt and gravel. The car bumped and shook as they drove. Sarah could see lights ahead through the trees. Finally, they reached a small town. It looked normal at first. There were houses with lights in the windows. There were shops and a small school. But as Sarah looked closer, she noticed strange things. The streetlights were not electric. They were glass balls that glowed with their own light. The plants in the gardens were more colorful than normal plants. Some of the houses had symbols carved into their doors and windows. "Welcome to Haven Valley," Emma said. They drove to a large house at the end of the main street. It was 3 stories tall and painted white. There were lights in many of the windows, and Sarah could see people moving around inside. "This is the Guardian House," Mr. Chen explained. "It is where new people stay when they first come to Haven Valley. It is also where we have meetings and classes." They got out of the car and walked to the front door. Before Emma could knock, the door opened. A tall man with gray hair and kind eyes stood there. He was wearing jeans and a red sweater. "Welcome," he said. "I am David. I have been waiting for you." David led them inside. The house was warm and comfortable. There were people sitting in the living room, talking quietly. Some of them looked up and smiled at Sarah. She could feel their gifts, like warm lights around each person. "Sarah," David said, "your grandmother was a dear friend of mine. I am so sorry she is gone, but I am happy you are here." "Thank you," Sarah said. She felt overwhelmed by everything that was happening. David showed them to the kitchen, where a woman was making tea. She was young, maybe 25, with black hair and brown eyes. She smiled when she saw Sarah. "This is Maria," David said. "She will be your teacher while you are here." Maria gave Sarah a cup of tea. It was different from the tea Emma had made earlier. This one tasted like mint and honey. "I know this is all very strange," Maria said. "When I first came here, I felt the same way, but you will learn to love this place. It becomes home very quickly." "How long have you been here?" Sarah asked. 5 years. "I came when I was 20. Before that, I lived in the city and did not know about my gift. I thought I was going crazy because I could hear other people's thoughts." Sarah felt better knowing that someone else had gone through the same thing. "What is your gift now?" "I can communicate with people using my mind. I can also sense when someone is lying or telling the truth. It is very useful for teaching new guardians." David sat down at the table with them. "Sarah, we need to talk about your situation. Shadow Seekers are looking for you very seriously. They attacked the bookshop after you left. They also went to the safe house." Sarah felt cold. "Did they hurt anyone?" Emma said. "But they left a message. They said they will not stop looking for you." "Why do they want me so badly?" Sarah asked. "There must be other people with gifts they could find." David and Maria looked at each other. David spoke carefully. "Your family line is special, Sarah. Your gifts are stronger than most people's. Your grandmother was one of the most powerful guardians we ever knew. We think you might be even stronger." "What does that mean?" Sarah asked. "It means you have the potential to do things that very few people can do. You might be able to protect many people at once. You might be able to heal serious injuries. You might even be able to see far into the future." Sarah felt scared and excited at the same time. "But I do not know how to do any of those things." "That is why you are here," Maria said. "We will teach you everything, but it will take time and practice." Over the next few hours, Sarah met more people from Haven Valley. There was Tom, who could make plants grow instantly. There was Linda, who could become invisible. There was a boy named Jake, who was only 16, but could move objects with his mind better than most adults. Everyone was kind to Sarah. They shared their stories about how they came to Haven Valley and how they learned to use their gifts. Sarah started to feel like she was part of a big family. Late that night, David showed Sarah to her room on the second floor. It was small but cozy, with a bed, a desk, and a window that looked out over the town. "Get some sleep," David said. "Tomorrow your real training begins." Sarah lay down on the bed and looked out the window. The town was quiet now, but she could see the glow of the magical streetlights. She could feel the presence of all the guardians. Around her, like a warm blanket of safety, for the first time since her grandmother died, Sarah felt like she might be okay. She had found her people. She had found her home. But as she drifted off to sleep, she wondered what would happen when the Shadow Seekers found Haven Valley. Because somehow, she knew they would keep looking until they found her. Her necklace glowed. Softly in the darkness, as if it was protecting her dreams, Sarah woke up to the sound of birds singing outside her window. The sun was bright and warm. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered everything that had happened. She was in Haven Valley, the secret town of people with gifts. She got dressed, and went downstairs. The kitchen was full of people eating breakfast. Maria waved to her from a table by the window. "Good morning," Maria said. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes," Sarah said. "Better than I have in weeks." Maria gave her a plate of eggs and toast. "After breakfast, we will start your first lesson. David wants to see how strong your gift really is." Sarah felt nervous. What if I cannot do anything? What if my gift is not as special as everyone thinks? "Do not worry," Maria said. "Everyone learns at their own speed. Some people take months to control their gifts. Others learn very quickly." After breakfast, Maria took Sarah to a building behind the guardian house. It was smaller and painted blue. Inside, there were several rooms, with different things in them. One room had cushions on the floor for meditation. Another room had mirrors on all the walls. A third room was completely empty, except for a single chair in the center. "This is the training center," Maria explained. "This is where new guardians learn to use their gifts safely." David was waiting for them in the empty room. He smiled when he saw Sarah. "Are you ready to begin?" Sarah nodded, even though she felt scared. "First, we need to see what you can do naturally," David said. "Do not try too hard. Just relax and let your gift work." He placed a small ball on the floor in front of Sarah. "Try to move this ball without touching it." Sarah stared at the ball. She tried to imagine it moving, but nothing happened. She concentrated harder, but the ball stayed still. "It is okay," David said. "Try a different approach. Close your eyes and feel the ball instead of looking at it." Sarah closed her eyes. She tried to feel where the ball was. At first, she felt nothing. Then slowly, she began to sense something. It was like a small warm spot in her mind. "Good," Maria said softly. "Now, try to touch that feeling with your thoughts." Sarah reached out with her mind toward the warm feeling. As soon as she touched it, she heard a small sound. "Eyes, the ball had moved about 6 inches. "Excellent," David said. "Most people take days to move anything their first time. They practiced with the ball for an hour." Sarah got better each time. Soon she could make the ball roll across the room. She could even make it stop and change direction. "Now let us try something different," David said. He brought out a small plant in a pot. The plant looked sick. Its leaves were brown and droopy. "See if you can help this plant," David said. Sarah looked at the plant. She felt sorry for it. She wanted it to be healthy and green. She reached out and touched one of the leaves gently. As soon as her finger touched the leaf, something amazing happened. The brown color disappeared. The leaf became green and stood up straight. The change spread to the other leaves. In just a few seconds, the whole plant looked healthy and beautiful. Maria gasped. "I have never seen anyone do that so quickly." David looked amazed too. "Sarah, I think your gift is even stronger than we thought. You do not just have one ability, you have several." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked. "You can move things with your mind. You can heal living things with your touch. I suspect you can do other things too." David picked up the healthy plant and looked at it carefully. This kind of healing usually takes years to learn. Sarah felt proud but also worried. "Out. This mean the Shadow Seekers will want me even more?" "Fortunately, yes," David said. "But it also means you will be able to protect yourself better once you learn control." They spent the rest of the morning practicing different things. Sarah learned that she could sense the feelings of people far away. She could make her necklace glow so bright it lit up the whole room. She could even make small objects appear and disappear. By lunchtime, Sarah was tired but excited. She was beginning to understand what made her special. During lunch, Jake, the 16-year-old boy, sat with Sarah and Maria. "I heard you healed a plant this morning," he said. "That is so cool. I can only move things. I cannot heal anything." "How long have you been here?" Sarah asked. 2 years. My parents brought me here when I started moving things by accident. I broke a lot of dishes at home." Jake laughed. "My mom was getting really tired of buying new plates." "Do you miss your old life?" Sarah asked. Jake thought about this. "Sometimes. I miss my friends from school. But this place is better. Here I can be myself. I do not have to hide what I can do." After lunch, Maria took Sarah to meet more people in the town. They visited the school, where children with gifts learned regular subjects, plus how to control their abilities. They went to the library, which had books about the history of Guardians that Sarah could not find anywhere else in the world. They also visited Tom, the man who could make plants grow. He had a huge garden behind his house. All the vegetables were bigger and more colorful than normal vegetables. The secret is to talk to the plants, Tom explained. They like to know that someone cares about them. Sarah tried talking to a tomato plant. She told it that it was beautiful and that she hoped it would grow big and strong. To her surprise, 3 new tomatoes appeared on the plant immediately. Tom stared. That took me 5 years to learn how to do. Everywhere they went, people were amazed by what Sarah could do. But she noticed that everyone was also a little worried. They kept looking over their shoulders and speaking in quiet voices. Something wrong? Sarah asked Maria as they walked back to the Guardian house. Maria stopped walking. We got some bad news this morning. The Shadow Seekers attacked another Guardian family last night. They took a young girl who had just discovered her gift. Sarah felt sick. What will happen to her? We do not know. Sometimes the Shadow Seekers try to turn people to their side. Sometimes they just steal their gifts and leave them powerless. Maria's voice was sad. We are trying to find her, but the Shadow Seekers are good at hiding. That evening, David called a meeting of all the Guardians in Haven Valley. They gathered in the large living room of the Guardian house. Sarah had never seen so many people with gifts in one place. David stood in front of everyone. We have a serious problem, he said. The Shadow Seekers are getting bolder. They are attacking more people, and they are getting stronger. An older woman raised her hand. What can we do? We've been hiding for so long. Maybe it is time to fight back. Fighting is dangerous, David said. Many of us would get hurt, and we might not win. But if we do nothing, they will keep taking our people, said a man with gray hair. How many more children will they steal? Sarah listened to the discussion. Everyone had different ideas about what to do. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to hide better. Some wanted to try to talk to the Shadow Seekers and make peace. Finally, Sarah stood up. Everyone looked at her. She felt nervous, but she knew she had to speak. What if I give myself up? She said. The room became completely quiet. David looked shocked. Sarah, no, Maria said. That is too dangerous. But they want me, Sarah said. If I give myself up, maybe they will leave everyone else alone. It does not work that way, David said gently. If they get you, they will just want more people. And once they have your gift, they will be even stronger and more dangerous. An old man in the back of the room stood up. Sarah had not met him before. He had white hair and walked with a cane. There is another way, he said in a quiet voice. Oh, it is very dangerous. Everyone turned to look at him. David frowned. Thomas, what are you thinking? The Shadow Seekers have one weakness, Thomas said.
Oh.
They need to be close to someone. To steal their gift. If we could trap them somehow, if we could get them all in one place, we might be able to stop them forever. How? Sarah asked. Thomas looked directly at her. We would use you as bait. The room exploded with voices. Everyone started talking at once. Some people thought Thomas's idea was crazy. Others thought it might work. Sarah felt dizzy listening to all the arguments.
Quiet,
David shouted. The room became silent again. Thomas, explain your plan. Thomas walked slowly to the front of the room. His cane made tapping sounds on the wooden floor. The Shadow Seekers want Sarah more than anyone else. They will risk everything to get her. We can use that against them. But if something goes wrong, we could lose Sarah forever, Maria said. If we do nothing, we will lose many more people, Thomas replied. And eventually they will find Sarah. Anyway, at least this way, we have some control. Sarah stood up again. I want to hear the plan. Thomas nodded. We would let the Shadow Seekers know where you are. But we would choose the place carefully. Somewhere we can control. Somewhere we can trap them. What kind of place? Sarah asked. There is an old factory about 20 miles from here. It has been empty for many years. The building is surrounded by open land, so no one can sneak up on us. And the inside has many rooms where we can hide other Guardians. David shook his head. It sounds too dangerous. Sarah has only been training for 1 day. She is not ready for something like this. I could learn more, Sarah said. How much? Time do we have? Thomas looked grim. Not much. Our spies tell us the Shadow Seekers are planning something big. They have been gathering in the mountains near here. We think they will attack Haven Valley within a week. The room became quiet again. Everyone was thinking about what this meant. If the Shadow Seekers attacked the town, many people would get hurt, children would be in danger. I will do it, Sarah said. Her voice was stronger than she felt inside. Sarah, no, Emma said. She had been quiet during the meeting, but now she looked worried. Your grandmother would not want you to risk your life like this. My grandmother spent her whole life running from them, Sarah said. Maybe it is time to stop running. David looked around the room. We need to vote. Everyone who thinks we should try Thomas's plan, raise your hand. Sarah watched as people slowly raised their hands. About half the people voted yes. The other half kept their hands down. It is close. David said, but the yes votes win. We will try the plan. But first, Sarah needs more training. We have 1 week to teach her everything we can. Over the next week, Sarah trained harder than she had ever worked at anything in her life. She woke up before sunrise and practiced until late at night. Maria and other teachers worked with her constantly. She learned to protect her mind from people trying to read her thoughts. She learned to hide her gift so the Shadow Seekers could not sense how strong she was. She learned to fight using her abilities as weapons. Imagine your gift as a sword, David taught her. You can use it to cut through their defenses. Practiced moving multiple objects at once. She practiced healing bigger injuries. She even learned to become invisible for short periods of time. Jake helped her train too. The trick is not to think too hard, he said. Let your gift flow naturally. When you force it, it does not work as well. Tom taught her how to make plants grow fast enough to trap someone. Plants are your friends. They want to help you. Just ask them nicely. By the end of the week, Sarah could do things that amazed even the oldest guardians. She could heal a broken bone with one touch. She could move a car with her mind. She could make a tree grow 20 feet tall in just a few seconds. But the most important thing she learned was to trust herself. You are stronger than you know, Maria told her. Trust your instincts. They will keep you safe. On the last day before the plan, Sarah walked through Haven Valley one more time. She wanted to remember everything in case she did not come back. The magical streetlights, the colorful gardens, the friendly faces of people who had become like family to her. That evening, the Guardians had a special dinner for Sarah. Everyone brought food they had made with their gifts. Tom brought vegetables that tasted better than anything Sarah had ever eaten. Linda, who could become invisible, had somehow made a cake that changed colors as you watched it. No matter what happens tomorrow, David said, you have already made us proud. You have learned more in 1 week than most people learn in a year. And you have given us hope, added Emma. For the first time in many years, we have a chance to end this threat forever. Sarah felt emotional. These people had become her family. They had taught her who she really was. She did not want to let them down. After dinner, Sarah went to her room to rest, but she could not sleep. She kept thinking about what would happen the next day. What if the plan did not work? What if the Shadow Seekers were too strong? What if she was not brave enough when the time came? She got up and looked out her window at the town. Everything was quiet and peaceful. The magical lights glowed softly in the darkness. She could feel the presence of all the guardians around her, sleeping safely in their homes. I will protect them, she whispered to herself. Whatever it takes. Right. The next morning came too quickly. Sarah ate a small breakfast, but her stomach was too nervous to hold much food. She put on dark clothes and comfortable shoes. She made sure her grandmother's necklace was secure around her neck. 20 guardians would go with her to the factory. They would hide in different parts of the building and wait for the Shadow Seekers to arrive. Sarah would be in the main room, alone, pretending she did not know about the trap. Remember, David said as they got ready to leave, "You are not really alone. We will all be there with you. If something goes wrong, call for help immediately." They drove to the factory in several cars. The building was just as Thomas had described it. It was old and made of red brick. Windows were broken and weeds grew. Around the walls, it looked like a perfect place for a trap. The Guardians spread out through the building. Sarah could feel them taking their positions. Maria was in a room above the main floor. Jake was hidden behind some old machinery. Tom was outside, ready to use plants to block any escape routes. Sarah stood in the center of the main room. The factory was quiet except for the sound of wind blowing through the broken windows. Dust particles floated in the beams of sunlight coming through the roof. She did not have to wait long. Her necklace began to grow warm, which meant danger was coming. She heard footsteps outside the building, not the quiet footsteps of the shadow seekers, but heavy boots that did not try to hide. The main door opened with a loud creak. 3 people walked in. They were dressed in black clothes and wore masks that covered their faces. But Sarah could feel the coldness of their gifts. These were shadow seekers. Sarah Thompson, one of them said. His voice was deep and harsh. We have been looking for you for a long time. I know, Sarah said. She tried to keep her voice steady. What do you want? You know what we want? The man said. Your gift. Give it to us willingly, and we will not hurt your new friends. Sarah felt a chill. Did they know about the other Guardians hiding in the building? I will never give you my gift, she said. The man laughed. It was not a nice sound. You do not have a choice. We have ways to take what we want. He raised his hand toward Sarah. She felt something cold and dark trying to get into her mind. But she remembered her training. She built a wall around her thoughts, just like Emma had taught her. The shadow seeker looked surprised. You are stronger than we expected. Good. Strong gifts are more useful to us. More shadow seekers came through the door. Sarah counted 6. Of them now, they spread out around the room, surrounding her. Now, David's voice said in her mind. It was time to spring the trap.